Welcome everyone. I have with me Ruben from Lincoln Auto Electric down in Redondo, right? On Redondo and 8th. Mercedes-Benz. Once I can get around this traffic, I'm good. There's no one. So we just left the Long Beach location. It pulled out the whole harness. Busted, right?
It's pretty old. It's wasted. So many years. 1968.
Mark route, and then we're back. I'm with Ruben, the legend. We're going to go and look at cars. So he locked up the shop right now, like 2:30 on a Saturday. Anybody that needs Uber and Lyft inspections, you've helped several Uber and Lyft drivers, right?
Did, yeah.
Got the sheets there, right?
Yeah.
Those Uber and Lyft sheets. Check
there.
up, go through the checklist. You know the drill, guys.
Yeah.
And the address, by the way, I'll put it down in Long Beach for the people that haven't been there. A lot of you guys have been there at the party. You met Ruben, or you've seen Ruben in some of the live feeds.
Hello, guys.
Cool. So yeah, he was working on that all morning. You got a couple of old Ford trucks in there as well, right? What were they?
68 truck and Ford pickup truck 1969 for
that old.
ignition
Okay.
switch. And
Okay.
a 66 Ford pickup truck is complete without the full suspension, engine, cooling system, electrical system,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much was everything.
You know, Ruben, you know what's interesting is that during the pandemic, right? But
Yeah.
during these crazy times, companies that are deemed essential, right?
Of course.
So auto repair shops fit into essential companies
Yeah,
that have
because
to
the people
be.
need transportation and services.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll see a lot of businesses around him all closed up, but they're in there and they're busy. So
Exactly.
if you're on Redondo, just sort of 8th and Redondo, you can't miss it. It's like red, white, and blue, like in the American colors. You drop in, introduce yourself, and you'll find this gentleman here. Somebody just said they had a 64 Ford.
Yeah, we can handle any car pretty much.
Any car, yeah. So right now we're gonna just make sure that one vehicle that we're gonna look at, you know, the question is, Ruben could fit a Chevy engine, right?
LT1 engine in the motor engine into the old car. So better emission, also better gas mileage.
Okay, so he could literally take a new Chevy engine and drop it in a Mercedes-Benz, for example. I mean, what are we talking about, like modifications there? What type of modifications do we do?
Pretty much the mounting system in a drive shaft. The drive line, the drive shaft in the back, short it out, or make adapters and for the mounting and a cooling system, obviously. It's not really much at all.
And what about the electrics? I mean, is one taking over the electrics?
Electric pretty much is going to be the original system. The only thing I have to do change is the ignition system, pretty much. The oil pressure switches, those nothing. Very minor changing anything else.
But, so is there a modification actually on the drive shaft, or is it a whole different new drive shaft that gets fitted
We
in?
can make it fit a new coupler in order to adapt the Mercedes. Look original sports just with a Chevrolet system.
Okay, interesting. So that's an option, you know.
That will be upgrade the car in a very nice condition. You know, 1995. What year?
Oh, this one is an 81 that we're looking
from
at.
81 to 2020. How many years? So many years of upgrading. Like
Yeah, that's been going.
The wiring system could upgrade just like that.
Completely.
Just like that. The engine will give you 24 miles per gallon at least. And I'm pretty sure that Mercedes was kind of a gasoline. Back then, the gasoline was pretty cheap and nobody cared for that.
That's true. So you would literally almost, probably in the long run, make it up on
in the long
gas.
run will be much better performing engine and also lighter with aluminum engines.
Oh, so the block is lighter.
And also the emissions. the emission will be almost up to the new car. Whatever engine comes from 2004 up, or 2010 up, they have very low emissions. So good for the environment. And only thing we have to do is go to the bar, let them put the barcode on it, inspect it.
Oh, so you have to. Who does the barcode? Is it the DMV or?
No, the government, the bar.
Oh, so they have to literally approve the new vehicle. You can't just swap out engines randomly, huh?
No, that's we follow the rules.
Yeah. Interesting.
They made the rules, we follow the rules. And in the long run, the car will be a very nice car. Whoever buy it or wanna have it, he will enjoy the car because Chevrolet is one of the best engines for emissions. It's simple to work on it, and always has been Chevrolets.
And those Escalades, I mean, do they?
They're very good. The A4, if you find the A4, we will do with the A4, which is in uphills, and when you need a lot of torque and power, you have the 8-cylinder working. When you go cruising or go downhill, you have 4-cylinder working. The computer automatically is set up for that.
But an Escalade engine wouldn't fit into that. Oh, it will.
It will.
Okay.
It will. The only thing we have to do is we have to modify the oil pan because it's too high.
Too high. Interesting.
Too high, so we have to cut them off in order to make it fit the car.
Oh,
There's few things have to be done in order to make it fit properly.
And they came out with a new technology. Was it the Germans that came out at that time? I mean, in the 80s?
Germans way back in actually in 30s. Oh, which way you go?
Oh, I go. That one goes
Santa Monica, north.
Oh, okay. I'll show you which way I go.
I'm new out of here. No, I'm not.
I'll show you how I go. I go around here, and then there's a shortcut through here.
That's good.
We're right on the front side of the airport of Long Beach Airport.
Oh, wow.
About to get. So normally the cars go around there, but there's a little shortcut through here. This looks like a big RV park, right? Like a storage area. Right behind there. So those cars, see that car?
Yeah, they took me around. They went. Oh, nice. Oh, they got this big difference.
So the way you went is probably faster, but that was closed at that time, so I didn't remember that.
Okay.
Hello, Rideshare. Hey, Teddy. Good. And the legend, he calls him legend. He was there at the party. He was the guy that came down from Philadelphia.
Oh, it's cool. I remember that.
Yeah. Teddy, we're going to go and check out a car. And on this particular channel, which is a new channel, I have to clock up 4,000 hours for YouTube. And once I hit those 4,000 hours on this new channel, then they monetize. They start paying you.
Oh, cool.
So the challenge is to get 4,000 hours plus 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, wow.
So I got the 2,000 subscribers very quickly, and now I got to clock up the hours. So I do a lot of feeds, right? Live feeds, because they get way better ratings. The headline that I put in there was Lincoln Auto Repair and Electric to help Ruben. I mean, I have a real mechanic that's in the car with me. How long were you in Santa Monica for? Almost
40 years.
40 years. So at the old location that I used to take all my cars to in Santa Monica, I was down there for 40 years on Lincoln. And what was the closest cross street? Lincoln and?
Ocean Park Boulevard.
Oh, Lincoln and Ocean Park Boulevard. There's a gas station that many of you may know there. He's right next door to it, sandwiched in between
Maple and Ocean Park Boulevard on Lincoln.
Yeah, so he was there for 40 years, and I met Ruben in 2001, and everyone brought their cars down to Ruben. Most of the people that couldn't fix the challenging stuff, they would ask around, and people would direct that individual to Ruben, and then he would fix it, electric or repair, no matter old or new, even old Ferraris, classics, muscle cars, everything. I mean, you you always had a wide range of cars on your lot there, right?
A lot of customers.
So then something sad happened. The landlord got a little bit greedy. They thought they could get a lot of money for that lot. So they decided to put the lot on the market. I don't honestly think they're going to get that asking price.
$7.5 million.
$7.5 million. That's what they wanted for that location. And then Ruben had to rock and roll, like literally in 1 month. We're on the internet looking for new locations. Found a great spot eventually. You looked at a lot of stuff, right? In LA,
We went there,
all over, even
Florida.
even in Florida, looking at locations. And then, what city was it in? It was in Jacksonville? Jacksonville, yeah.
In Beach Boulevard.
Beach Boulevard, checked out locations there.
That was cool.
Yeah, so there was a big, whatever the universe was going to send him. So it said Long Beach. So it was Long Beach, found the location, signed the lease, got in there, set it up. I helped with the marketing, got vehicles in. A lot of the old customers.
They came from Santa Monica.
They actually came down from Santa Monica. Ruben would often pick up the vehicle,
pick up and deliver the car,
and then take it down to Long Beach, fix it up, and then bring it back. So even if you're up in LA West Side,
you have to adjust your situation to the circumstances.
I agree. You know, and you're starting in a complete new location, right? After being the most well-known person on Lincoln for 40 years, and now you're suddenly in a whole new area. But if you're not, Mark Rowden says Florida is a lot more easier on emissions.
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah, they are.
They are? Okay. Yeah, California is rather strict, right?
Very strict.
Probably one of the strictest in the country.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so set up there, got that place going, opened up, I'd want to say, just before Christmas, January, first week of January. Can you believe it, already in March, in April?
It's amazing.
It's amazing how time flies.
Time flies, you know, honestly, I feel comfortable like I has been there for a long time.
You feel like you've been in that neighborhood for 10 years already.
Just moving like a block away from 30 miles.
And Ruben's the same as me. We greet everyone. Hello, handshakes. Obviously now you don't handshake, you frickin' bump elbows.
That's it.
But everyone, everyone and anyone you're networking with.
People's consciously, honestly, they picking up the thing. At least in Long Beach, they're not crazy. They're fine. Very nice people. Their neighborhood.
Away from the ocean.
Very nice people.
Beautiful little homes, nice low buildings, and he's sort of sandwiched right in. And I've noticed a lot of locals are also coming in, right?
Yeah, they pretty much they're around the corner, they're a few blocks away. It's just it's amazing how the universe responds to the situations.
Exactly. And you got good branding on the outside. I got to say, you got a lot of. It's very loud, It's very, very catchy. Then we added the Uber and Lyft inspections to the Long Beach location. So if you're a bit of a rough reception right next to the refinery, there's a bad patch. What area is that? Is it Westminster?
Carson.
Oh, Carson. So we're on the 405 driving north, passing through Carson. I think IKEA is very close, right?
Yeah, right here, somewhere here.
Yeah. And slowly but surely, people are trickling in. Yeah? People are responding and coming in. And I just said to Ruben, hey, even if you just, as a business, even if you just carry the costs in the first year, if you break even 12 months in a row and you don't have to dig into your pockets, right?
Exactly.
Just keep it
That's
floating.
Yeah.
And then in the second year, you start rock and rolling and start seeing profits,
next
right?
year going to be more solid.
Yeah, because you've been in there December, January, February, March, for 3 or 4 months. Another 8 months, everyone will know you in that neighborhood.
Yeah, it will be pretty much easier.
I would say in the next 8 months, everyone is going to have to do their oil change or whatever. So
yeah, the people who came already, I didn't count how many are there, but quite a lot of people. So all people there, they're very nice people. I'm not kidding you. So
they're nice. I like it. I like
Very
everyone's
nice.
approachable in that area. Super nice, friendly neighborhood.
Yeah.
Sushi truck.
That's cool.
So what are you guys up to this weekend? Anybody doing anything exciting, or is everybody staying indoors and following protocol? What are you guys doing? So, the guys that are in LA, when the market picks up again after the pandemic, I think it's, Uber and Lyft will start picking up again. Right now it's dead, right? They said it went down 94%, by the way, the business.
Wow.
94%.
I believe that because nobody's really flying anything else.
So when people are back in the cars and putting on
Look, the floor is empty.
staying at home, good. When
That's the
people are,
sacrifice.
yeah,
The sacrifice we have to do that in order to really go to this situation.
adapt, right?
Definitely.
I was just putting in gas, so just I spray down, what I always do is I always spray down the gas handle,
Cool.
because they say a lot of infections come from the shopping carts and the gas handles.
Shopping carts, yeah.
So whether you have paper, cloth, or spray down.
And in the morning they put all the toilet and handle and everything
You
else.
do, yeah, good. Do all that, because you never know who was last
Yeah.
there, and you just keep it
Just not to help ourselves, in
Wally world.
try to be safe and sorry.
And I think, once the market bounces back, if you had to take a guess, how many months would you say before things start slowly getting to normal?
Maybe other 3-4 months.
3-4 months? I
think so.
I think 3 to 4 months is realistic.
I think so.
So we're looking at the 8th month, which is just probably August, September.
I will say so.
I'm sure the temperature will help.
Yeah, the temperature will help, and also they're getting more machines, so they're getting more material to, all this protection stuff, the oxygen machines, whatever it is, at the hospital. So that will be, people is going to be more conscious, because I was watching Argentina and Spain, all those places, the people, they're really more locked up themselves, they're not interact anymore, so
They're in the buildings.
kind of stop the spreading, and I think that's very nice.
Yeah, it's working smart.
Unfortunately, sad thing is some people they have do all and they have a lot of other issues with their health. So that's
People with health issues, I mean, you should not be out there at all. You should really, even if you have loved ones or parents or whatever, you got to take care of them. What I saw was interesting this morning. China flew in with a plane, delivered 1,000 ventilators to New York. Thank you, China. And then Russia flew in a big military plane full of supplies, masks. Hey, thank you, Russia. I mean, 2 former communist countries helping out a capitalistic country. I mean, they practicing or trying to practice capitalism, right? I mean, I think they're doing way better now that they're opening up from communism to. You've been to several communistic countries, right? You went to what, Cuba? Ukraine.
East Germany.
And Ruben, by the way, used to be a shipping engineer, so he was on all the big ships around the globe, working on these massive. What are some of the longest ships that you worked on, as far as feet goes?
Maybe like APs, like 60,000 tons, 70,000 tons.
70,000 ton ships? Wow.
Yeah, fish fillet factories. Like
So you got some
5,000
serious
tons.
engines underneath those hulls, huh?
Yeah, pretty much you have to be there. And they have really good equipment to service maintenance and all kind of things.
What do those run on? Diesel?
Diesel.
Big engines, right?
Big engines. They have factories inside. They have the air conditioning with the Freon 22, all kind of things. Practically cities.
Like a city on a boat.
They got like 120 people, crew. They do all kind of things. Refrigeration.
So mainly on big fishing ships?
Processing the fish,
Processing it.
catching the fish, and after that,
They process it right out at sea.
right out of sea.
So where were some of the biggest fishing grounds in the world that they...
South America, Peru, north of Peru, north of Peru.
Really?
Yeah, and
What type of...
South Africa, the whitefish.
Whitefish. In
whitefish.
South Africa as well?
A lot of them.
Really? Around the Indian, right by the Indian
No.
Ocean or on the Atlantic side?
Atlantic side.
Atlantic side. So on up the
West
coast.
Africa.
West Africa.
Angola.
Interesting.
Angola is Africa.
So you would pull into Angola quite often then?
A lot of times.
It's a crazy place, Angola, right? What is the
Gavinda.
Gavinda, yeah.
Yeah. Also Cape Town, a lot of places there.
Cape Town's a big, lot of big processing plants down there. INJ. I don't know if you know INJ.
I remember that. INJ.
In one of the old factories at INJ, I used to do the big concerts and raves.
Oh, really?
It used to be processing, massive, big warehouses in the shipping yards. We used to do big.
I don't know
concerts.
how it's today because I'm pretty sure those political situation been changed, I guess.
Probably also overfished a lot of the, overfishing.
In the South Atlantic, out of South Africa, a lot of those Taiwanese and the Chinese, they cut this, what's it called, the sharks. They remove the fins out of it and throw the whole shark into the ocean. That was kind of nasty.
Wow. What about sardine fishing? A lot of...
Oh, Norway, Peru. My God.
Really? Crazy.
You don't have no idea. At night time, you see a fish almost like a mile square.
Just fish.
Pops out and fish in the popping up. The salt is like lighting up the whole ocean.
Wow.
Hundreds of tons, thousands of tons.
I'm sure it's not the same anymore.
No, not anymore. There's so much ignorance and the greed.
Overfishing,
the big corporation, they throw all kind of machines there to fish the sardine, and they overfish. That fish could have been feed the world, but they rather to do them fish meal in order to
crazy
to dump in the dirt.
It's amazing. A friend of mine, he had 5 trawlers, small trawlers.
Yeah.
They would go out 2-3 weeks at a time off Mozambique, and he would catch shrimp, and he would freeze the shrimp.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Lot of money.
Like
he made a lot of money.
Shrimp, sardine is the easy fish. The middle of the night, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the evening, you can catch it. You have to have humongous ship in order to haul it.
But like on those big ships, when you're out in the seas and that, I mean, like 90%, 99% of the time they're running well, right? I mean, do you run into problems sometimes? Like what is it?
You better believe it.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what can go wrong? I mean, what?
Anything can go wrong. It's like a car. In a factory, they have machines to process certain part of the fish. The head, the guts, the tails, they go into the trash. So the trash is collected in huge tanks, and they cook. After they cook, they press them. They remove all the water out of it. They remove the oil out of it, and then they have to grind the bones. Yeah. And the scale have to be grinded to make a powder out of it. So from that you can process it. You can get for cream, vitamins, all kind of thing, iron. A lot of things coming out of that thing. So
you have different machines for that, or
so many machines, you name it.
Really?
So when one machine breaks apart or doesn't work, or they have a lot of them, but they supposedly 1, 2, 3 machines at the time it goes wrong. The ship is what are they going to do? Throw away the
so I mean it stops the whole procedure, right?
It's the procedure. They have to one thing down everything else. It's like a domino effect. Everything will work together.
But the actual ship engines that are driving the engines, those are pretty solid and reliable.
Solid,
right? Solid, right?
Mostly
so
Germans, Japanese, and Chinese or Russians.
Okay.
And those main engines, they run for a year.
They do?
They start 1 year, a year later they have to be at the shipyard to be a service at tune-up.
Really? So they'll go solid for a year?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Actually, they go for 30 years or 40 years. That's the lifespan of those ships.
So you're taking care of the machinery that's literally
Servicing, you
servicing
operate it, the oil changes. You just get the oil there and the ship itself. They have special machines that purify the oil, return it back to the engine, lubricating, working, and driving here back and forth. It's a crew to maintain the ship, crew to drive the ship, crew to fish the ship, fish.
So do you know, do you still keep in contact with certain people maybe in your hometown, like wherever, or do you know people in Peru that are still out there doing a lot of fishing, or the good day is over?
I think a good day is over. They do a smaller scale, like, only
local,
for commercial fish, to do like fillets or consume dairy consume, every day, consuming every day meat, like anything else, local businesses. But it's still money. It's still money. You
still money in there.
All boats, so it's before 1969 or 70s, there still was a lot of anchovies. Peru was a well-known for anchovies. The first country in the world. 12 million square million tons per year they used to process. Imagine that. Onassis was there. A lot of American companies. I think it's Turkish from Long Beach, actually. That
That's how Onassis really made his money in the shipping industry, right?
Oh yeah.
Now, but
Sivas is kind of a commercial fall, like artisanal fishers. They go with a small pangas. They go
equivalent to that. Is there anything as tasty as that?
Oh my goodness, there's a lot of. In Chile, we have congrios.
Congrios, yes.
Congrios are really good.
But I love that fish.
Also, the swordfish with the northern Peru is a lot of them.
Wow.
Peru, believe it or not, Peru is the country that has the biggest species in
variety of fish.
Oh yeah, so many. And eatable fishes is so many of them. Because the coastal area is from south to north all the way up to Chile, is fed by the fish food, which is what you call this?
The
bacteria.
Yes,
grows in the South Pole.
Right. I know.
Plankton.
Plankton. Exactly.
Plankton is fish feeding natural food. Whales, sharks, and sharks mostly feed itself from the small fishes. But even the huge whales, they eat the plankton, and the baby fish eat plankton. Everything is a chain. Little eat the big one eat the little one. It's food all over the place. Also,
there was no whaling, right?
It used to be in Peru. Japanese, they used to whale.
Oh, the Japanese used to whale.
The northern part of Peru was a factory there. They used to do fillet and the oil out of the whale.
Interesting.
But suddenly, they hit themselves for many, I think 60 years or 50 years in Peru. They had a lot of influence economically, politically, so they was able to get away with that. I don't think they even paid taxes to Peruvians to gather so much oil.
So was that one of their biggest exported products, fish or?
Fish was the biggest export product. Fish oil, and fish fillets.
But isn't Peru also very rich on minerals? Like just
very rich, super rich. Still today. They have a lot of gold. They have a lot of copper, uranium. They have a lot of diamonds. They have a lot of minerals.
That's interesting.
They have so much mineral because everything is a mountains. All those mountains, they used to be, a million years ago under the ocean.
Yeah.
So now it's in the Andes.
So you move around in very high altitude most of the time, right?
I grew up in a 4,000 meters up the sea level.
4,000 meters?
Yeah.
That's over
12,000
feet.
Yeah.
Jeez,
the highest peak in the mountain in my hometown is 21,400 something. It's like.
And how far is Monte Picchu from there?
Maybe like 600 miles out.
Oh, 600 miles. Okay. Oh, I know they're very big on tourism as well.
Oh,
a lot of tourists go.
They're very big. know, the problem in Peru is that we have the government situations, the political system is so terrible. Look at me, I had to be here because I could not be down there
Right.
in my own hometown. I could have been doing so many good things for somebody else, serving people. But the people are so greedy and selfish, I guess that's what it is.
But the wealthy down there are very wealthy, right? There's a very
super wealthy people.
so there's a very strong class distinction between poor and super wealthy.
You
I'm
know,
sure.
in the 50s to 60s, they used to be very kind of tuned into the system, you know, poor, middle class, and rich. I think that's a nice combination in any society.
Right. Have a strong middle class.
Middle class,
Have,
a strong middle class, definitively. Thanks to God, rich people, you know, it's cool, but suddenly the rich got so greedy. So greedy. Now, the wealth divides between two rich and poor. That's it. Middle
Very-
class gone.
yeah, the
It's
middle
total
class
gone.
is definitely wiped out in many.
Mexico, Colombia, Venezuela, Peru, Argentina, Chile, they total gone.
You know what I was thinking? You know, we had that housing collapse in 2007, 2008.
I remember that.
A lot of people lost their homes.
I lost the houses.
You lost the house. So yeah, as well. Had the money, like the ultra rich who had the money, just swooped in.
That's
and
what,
just
that's what
bought
they
it.
needed. A lot of people, real estate, they bought it. Even
Right.
right now, they do. Oh, I could buy cash for, you know.
But let's say that was more situated around homes. You know, a lot of home foreclosures, etc. That whole market tanked. Now in 2020, with the pandemic, there are going to be so many people losing their hotels, their
A lot of
their businesses.
The restaurant, look at the restaurant.
Restaurants are going to go down. People just can't get through these times unless you're obviously ultra creative, right? Ultra creative. But for the
You know,
most of it,
you-
many people.
But you know, the problem is that people even cannot move. Who's going to get into do any business these days?
Right.
It's really crazy. You know, honestly, like now the government giving like $800 or $1,000 or $1,200. That's a peanuts.
It's a drop in the ocean.
You know what costs to them to put a piece of paper into the machine, to printing machine, because for them it's a peanuts, and for us it's a suffering, and we have to go through all the situation
Correct.
because the government is so stupid, is greedy, or something else, because we pay so much taxes through the years we live here, and then
You get a $800 or $1,000 check. back.
$1,000, what you can get, you can even pay the half of the rent
Yeah.
with
Not
a
gonna get you
$1,000
anywhere.
for 1 month. And now you cannot buy anything else. In
Yeah.
the markets now, they're taking advantage of the situation. Bonds, everything is they're raising up the price. Obviously, they don't have not enough supply, but doesn't mean they have to be really.
Wealthy sweep in after this,
Yeah,
and they buy up everything for cents on the dollar again. Right?
You know, the wealth is always there. Like the insurance people, all those people. You know, the insurance by.
Right. This is the first time I've seen traffic in LA for a while.
Yeah, now look at this.
We're actually hitting traffic, guys, which is so unusual.
You know, this place, no matter what, look at the pandemic, and doesn't matter. Anytime it is clocked up, this profile, something is too many cars. You know, there's only freeway connected to the valley. That's the problem.
Correct. It's a horrible.
Should be underway tunnel or something else. I don't think the engineers, coastal engineers, I don't think they try to resolve the problem. They should be sitting at the table with the people of the city and tell, you know, we have to solution this problem. They don't do that.
There's no. Are we talking? We jumped over to like LA traffic. The topic. It's just. I mean,
It's unbearable.
like right now, traffic is pretty much dead because of the pandemic. But you come here on a regular day. If you guys ever drive or fly into LA, you can spend many hours of your week in traffic. I mean, just even from, you know, Long Beach up to your house to the west side.
It's so ridiculous.
So we're at 405 going down there by Skirball.
Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland, yeah. Mulholland goes far, and Mulholland goes all the way from
All the way up to almost Ventura.
Ventura, all the way right down to almost downtown. That's a long, long road.
Long road. A beautiful road, scenery.
Yeah. Looks like the road that sort of divides the city into two pieces, the valley side and the
Crystal Line.
Hey Torsten, where are you guys headed? We're looking at cars. So I picked up Ruben. I spent the morning in Long Beach. He was working on a few cars, a few classics. We are looking at a car it's not turning over. I mean, it's turning over, it's not starting. It's an old classic. And Ruben could say, hey, you know what, hands on or hands off. I know quite a bit about cars, but it's a fraction. It's 2%. No, not even 2%. 0.2% of what Ruben knows. You know, no, 0.002% of what Ruben knows.
Nada.
But you know, I've helped people in problem situations, you know, on the side of the road, or it's an old lady and you like feel sorry for them, you stop. And it's just some basic stuff. Maybe even the battery cables are loose, you know, just basic stuff, right? But the car that we're looking at right now, we'll see. It's just after DeSoto, I think. So yeah, taking a drive with Ruben here. We're talking everything. We're talking about South America. We're talking about fishing. We're talking cars. Just appreciate you guys watching, because that way I get to clock up hours. You know, the after the 4,000 hours, Ruben, I have my rideshare professor channel. You know that.
Yeah, I know.
We're not on that channel right now. We're in another channel.
Different channel.
So we're not reaching as many people, but when that hits that peak, that 4,000, I then open that up to, you know, how do you make money on Amazon? How do you do drop shipping? How, you know, cars, buying and selling cars. How do you get a cosmetic line going? How do you get a supplement line going? I'll be doing a lot of real estate related videos. I will be doing videos at the house, like of the Foo Fighters. You know, I've asked them already. I told them that I'm opening up the other channel to many things. So, you know, some of the NBA players that I drive, or Dr. Phil, you know, I want to just be able to talk to them in the car like I'm talking to Ruben. You know, Ruben has truly one of the most fascinating backgrounds, because he's lived in many countries. He's the hardest worker I know, and the genius of geniuses when it comes to cars. So, you know, having guests on the show like you, Ruben, so I'd have someone in the Escalade, and we'll just maybe take a short drive or go sit down in a restaurant when things normalize after the pandemic. And then have them on my show. You know, like the top drummer in the world, who's Foo Fighters, Taylor Hawkins. He did a little interview on BBC recently. It's over 6 or 7 million views. Cool. You know, a guy like that brings a lot of value. Or you know, former basketball players like Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce. You know, the clients of mine. And having them just talking about good old basketball times. You know, it's, you bring hopefully you can tell me, hey, you know, afterwards it's not that much work, but let's just say, you know, could be this, so we'll end for some work. But maybe it's not, you know, maybe it really isn't, because he's driven it a short while ago. His wife is German. She, you know, cool. I spoke to her as well, and she, you know, he's like from Mongolia. Yeah. Interesting guy. He's a big finance guy for Procter Gamble, and he's a numbers guy.
That's a really.
And he inherited all of this stuff from his dad.
Wow.
So he inherited motorbike, cars, everything. So I
That
think.
country is very peculiar, and they champions in a horse.
Oh, race. Yeah, they're
Raise a
horse.
horse. Oh, since young age, they ride the horses and all the milking holes, all kind of things. So they really people. They survive also.
Yeah, no, they. What I'm fascinated by the history.
Very amazing.
Nomadic, right? Like
Nomadic, yeah.
Nomadic.
They're nomadic. They rival.
And that's on the border of China, or where?
China and Mongolia.
Used to be a lot of wars there, right? When the massive wars.
Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan. Yes, that's it. Genghis Khan.
Beat the hell out of Chinese.
Yeah. Fucked them up.
Really.
He's known as a warrior. Huh?
And then Chinese, they developed the Shaolin monks. Those the Kung Fu, all those things. Amazing.
Beautiful areas. It's like
beautiful.
up in. I'd love to go like Nepal, those
Nepal,
areas. I'd love.
now Chinese, they made a train to Nepal from I think from Beijing or Hong Kong. I think from Beijing.
They traded what?
They made a train.
Oh, they made a train.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
stunning.
know the biggest trouble there is the permafrost. You know permafrost is when the ground
Yes.
freezes on the certain
Yes.
level after the ground. So when they compress the dirt and the water goes out of the permafrost style of heating, they can cause all kind of problems. So it's not stable. So they have to figure out how to. The Chinese figure out. I think they bring some rock. Somehow they filter the permafrost to maintain the permafrost there forever.
Interesting.
In the trains, they have all the services like toilet water, those kind of things. They pick up in tanks, huge tanks. They have to deliver somewhere else to purify. They cannot throw anything in a permafrost, not to contaminate, not to keep the the permafrost stuff as natural.
Wow.
So they have a very nice train.
You got to hand it to the Chinese. I mean, the amount of time that they've opened up, they've literally
what happened?
adapted, learned, taken,
Yeah, I
and
think
implemented it.
I think really Chinese, they're really doing good things for themselves. They try to be,
Yeah.
try to
Well,
be-
he's the leader there. I mean, he's
think
he's
he's
in
cool.
for life, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
he's in
he's
for life
like
now.
Putin, right? He's
Yeah,
in there. He's
kind of-
leading for life.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a super wealthy family, and
super.
he
super
runs
wealthy.
the show, just like
Yeah.
Russia. Putin runs
Yeah.
the show, and not easy to topple him. Huh?
Yeah, it's an communist system, which is a military system.
Yeah,
Drive
the
the country.
military keeps
Yeah,
you in power.
Yeah.
Just like Robert Mugabe survived for all
my
of those
God,
years,
so
right?
many
He was
years.
he was in there till the age of 85 and 90. Crazy.
For a lot of years.
Bad guy.
Unfortunately, some systems they need a strong hand in order to hold up people, because people sometimes they have history, brother. They take it for advantage of the situation, take it for granted, and they don't appreciate it. There's no, it's really hard to say, but the human beings need to be really hard. You have to be disciplined. You have to have a dad to be all your life. Dad is something that makes you grow, and after that you take over. But some people, look at that, in the pandemic situation, they don't want to do. They go to the beach, go and party. Hey,
Yeah.
you son
I
of a
mean, they're
gun.
not being responsible
No
at all.
responsible. That's really bad. That's really bad. They can create a big problem in this situation. Like I can kill a bunch of people.
Well, it just takes a few people that go back,
it's
to,
spreading.
and then it's boom. It's like
Yeah.
another. That's what I'm saying. Like
It's like a cluster bomb. It's spawning here. then-
clusters, yeah.
Yeah. This.
very, very close.
I don't know, my friend.
Very close to this place, and I'm going to switch off the feed.
This tree, the Peruvian trees, pepper trees.
Really,
Yeah,
pepper trees.
The pepper trees.
These are
They brought
pepper
them Peru.
Wow.
And the quechua they call cuyash. Jeez, I went to this tree so many times. Topanga. I right there think, oh my goodness, I see already. I see already.
So we're here by the car, out of respect to to the seller, I don't really want to get him on the camera and everything. It would be a little bit weird. He does not know that Ruben knows that I do live feeds.
Yeah.
So Ruben and I will be back doing many other feeds together. I appreciate it, Ruben.
Okay, guys.
Ruben has many stories, so I want Ruben on the show a lot. Just right now, out of respect to the seller, we're going to switch off and be back with you guys later. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, guys.